And hello, everybody. You're live. It's Monday night with Sherry Shriner. Tonight is, January 14th. If you have any questions for the show, you can send them to SherryTalkRadio at yahoo.com. Try to get to them. Sometimes I'm just answering them when I get off the air and see questions. Sometimes it's just easier to answer people back, and so they aren't waiting all week to the next week, and then I may not get to it. Emails tend to get lost in my email box. You know how it is, folks. Especially when you've already looked at something, it's not so highlighted anymore. It's to me all the time. So if I missed a question past shows you wanted me to answer, just keep resending it. I wanted to thank all the supporters I have out there for your financial support, for your emotional support. Couldn't do it without you. We're here as a team, folks. We're here to shake the gates of hell, and that's what we're doing. And so I couldn't do it without you. And so I just wanted to thank all the supporters, because I don't get a chance to see you, obviously, and I don't always have to respond to donations that are sent in, even though I do get them, and I thank you for that. I don't know if there's an email address included, so I'll send an email. But I want you to know, I know who you are, and the Lord knows who you are. And so I just wanted to thank you for that. We are making a difference, folks. I mean, I see it all the time in the Bible codes that with the impact that the Lord's last days army is having on Satan's kingdom and going to have, even when we're long gone, our effect is still going to be here on earth. And so we're definitely making a difference. And this whole orgone fight is growing, and I'm seeing it growing in the codes. I'm seeing names I'm familiar with some of these people. I'm seeing them stand up and become leaders, just taking control. Just mind-boggling to see different warriors being able to stand up and seeing names getting pronounced in the codes. And usually I see first names, and so I don't know last names, don't particularly know who all of these people are. I just know that they're out there. And it definitely makes an impact. It's going to make an impact. And the world's going to see the impact it makes, even if we're long gone. And so just keep doing what the Lord leads you to do. You know, it's the Lord that's led us to this fight in the last days. And ask Him to make a way and prepare a way for you to get involved with it. I know a lot of big thing from people is you hear that they don't have the money to do the things, but the Lord will prepare a way, you know. The Lord will make a way to do that. And so, and teaming up with other people in your areas, you know, I've told you that orgoned areas will be the safe zones from all of these demonic infestations that are coming, these locust plague that's coming. I'm going to talk about the locusts tonight. I'm going to talk about a lot of interesting things tonight, and so excited about that. I've been doing a lot of work in the codes for the past week or so, and the Lord is showing me so much more stuff in the codes right now, because these things are coming up. And as things are coming up, He'll start revealing them to me in the codes, and so I can see a lot more. He'll show me a lot more. And so I'm starting to get a timeline put together. And it's very interesting, because you're seeing the Bible come alive right now. You're looking at last days prophecy coming alive in the Bible codes, because you're seeing all these events that I've been talking about for years, these websites that I've had up for years. You start seeing it come alive in the Bible codes at the events that are just around the corner. And so that's how close we are. That's how close we are to being in the last days. And, of course, the last days to me are more or less the last half of the tribulation. I've always said most people will not realize when they're in the beginning of the tribulation period. Because most people, most churches have them brainwashed into thinking we're just going to have this worldwide event where two leaders sit down at a table and make this peace treaty with Israel. They're following Daniel to a T. And I don't know what to tell you about this Daniel Concordat, folks. All that's past history as far as I can tell, because in the Bible codes, I don't see it. I see a treaty being made with this Matria when he arrives. And I'm not sure it's gonna be with Israel, the land of Israel, like everybody believes, because America is so dominant in the codes. It's America, the people, the real people of Israel, that are dominant. I mean, when you look at the Bible, is it talking about the land of Israel or the people of Israel? You know, there were Israelites in the Old Testament surrounded by their capital, Jerusalem. It was the land of Israel then. All that's been changed. You look at the warnings of Revelation 2:9 and 3:9 about the synagogue of Satan, and the Jews claiming they're Jews when they're not. They're fake Jews. And you look in Israel today, and you have these Satan seed, Khazar, Zionist Jews running Israel. They're not real Jews, folks. There are a handful of remnant of Torah-believing Jews in Israel today, but they're dominated by the Satanists, the Zionists, and those are fake Jews. They're not even real bloodline Jews. And so when you look in the Bible codes trying to find all the stuff that you've learned through churches throughout the years, you don't see it the way that they have always laid it out. And then you look at, well, who have I been listening to? Who are all these prophecy gurus in the churches you've spent time listening to? You think of the Jack Van Impe's and the Hal Lindsays. And then you find out these guys are Masons and Jesuits, and they're working Satan's program all along. They're steering everybody away. They use the Bible simply as their own blueprint to try to bring about their own end of the days and their own establishment of their own kingdom on earth. They use our Bible as a blueprint, but they twist and manipulate a lot of things. I mean, you have to throw out Paul if you want to know anything about going in last days. He leads everybody astray. And the translations itself, looking up the real meanings of the words, that's a job in itself, folks. Just looking up the real meanings. A lot of symbolisms mentioned, a lot of various different prophets to go through and read to try to understand last days prophecies. And one of the biggest things, I'm going to talk about it tonight, is how the churches have been conditioning people into thinking that Moses would be one of the returning two witnesses in the last days. And you know what? Moses died, folks. It says very plainly, I think it's the first chapter of Deuteronomy, or the first one in Leviticus, where it talks about God burying Moses on the mountain. And so Moses couldn't return. But they have the churches so hoodwinked over that into waiting for Moses to return, because the last day plagues and things like that are similar to what Moses had done in Egypt in the older days. But Moses is going to come. But it's not the Moses of the Bible, folks. It's a demon Moses. And he's coming with the New Age ascended masters. But what I want to talk about tonight is some of the things that I have been finding in the codes. We're reading this week that the RFID chip has been delayed for several years. Also been reading that people and animals both getting tumors from the chip implants. I think they'll forego the card. It may have been an introductory measure for them. Introduce the card, then introduce a straight chip implantation. They're going to go ahead and do the straight chip implantation, folks. They don't have time for the card. That's the reason they're saying, oh, we won't do it till 2011 or 2017. They don't have time. They don't have any more time to implement the card, because Maitreya very clearly claiming to his own New Age audience, his own audiences, that they're coming now. And, you know, one of the things I was in shock about is that we're all finally on the same page for once. We're on the same page about their estimation of their arrival. Of course, we look at it in different ways. They look at Maitreya and the New Age Ascended Masters as heavenly beings coming to Earth to enlighten mankind. And we know exactly that they're freaks from hell coming to destroy mankind. And March is a very dominant month. This March. March of 2009, 2010. And so now you can argue, well, this is 2008. Well, yeah, very clearly it's 2008 according to our calendar. But like I've said, sometimes it's really difficult with these Bible codes in knowing what time you're actually in, because of the change of so many calendars over the years. I think they've tried to mask it and hide it. And so every time I look at 2009, 2010 in the codes, I'm seeing 2008. I'm seeing Bush and Cheney still in office. I'm seeing a lot of things. And so and we know Bush can't be in office again unless there is no elections. But another thing that's there in the codes is the fact that Obama and Hillary are also mentioned and dominant. And so all these people in the political scene would make it this year. And I'm not saying it is going to be this year, just preparing you. If we have another year of where we're just putting out more ozone to protect the world from the coming alien invasions, then fine. I know a lot of believers and warriors out there would be upset that we have to sit here for another year. But if it would come, March this year, then I would be amiss for not warning God's people ahead of time. And so it could be this March this year. It could be January. It could be February. There's always